Welcome back. I'm Edie Hill. Let's take a look at the big board right now. Live look, the Dow Jones Industrial Average going up, 130 points up to 12,572. Now, this comes on the heels of yesterday's half-point rate cut, which came just a week after a rare inter-meeting rate cut. So why all the action? Because of fears the economy is slowing and recession could be nearing, which is what makes the statement from former President Bill Clinton so puzzling. During a speech on global warming, he said,
"We just have to slow down our economy and cut back our greenhouse gas emissions because we got to save the planet for our grandchildren."
Now, in all fairness, this was just one part of his speech, but what would the results of slowing down the economy be? Joining us now is Charles Payne, CEO of Wall Street Strategies and a panelist on the cost of freedom. You know, I was baffled by this because when it seems Democrats and Republicans have finally united on one thing, and that is that our economy is slowing and we need to kick it into gear, Bill Clinton comes out and says, no, we need to slow it.
It's really so baffling. And also considering that the big thing about his whole term as president was that the economy was gangbusters. Which is a tad ironic. It is a tad ironic that, you know what, we had we had an attitude in this country, and it started at the White House, that we were going to party like Prince's 1999, and we did. Consequently, of course, we had a hangover and a recession and other things. But the bottom line, though, is at a time when we actually need some sort of a spark in our economy, it's so incredible that anyone would suggest to slow down. Well,
maybe he learned something from what happened during his presidency. He does refer to other countries in other statements. He refers to other countries and makes a comparison between the countries that have the highest productivity or the fastest growth and the least amount of pollution. But that
doesn't jive. Listen, the fastest growing country in the world is China. Without a doubt, one of the fastest growing economies in the history of mankind, the greatest polluter in the history of mankind. India is going crazy, but look at India. It's overpopulated, and they don't have really a great energy policy. Russia has no energy policy. Brazil, I mean, you can go down the line. If you took the top 5, top 10 greatest growing nations in the world right now, they're not doing anything in terms of holding back or trying to, limit greenhouse gases.
Okay, in defense of his statement, is there some truth to what he's saying? Because I've always heard people say, you don't want the economy growing too fast. You want slow, steady growth. So doesn't that make a bit of sense?
Well, that part makes a bit of sense, but the business moves in cycles. It's almost impossible to get away from the so-called business cycle. At the end of the day, as far as this is concerned, you let the free markets handle it. He talked about our grandchildren. Well, guess what? Our grandchildren will find ways of making money off of this, of finding, new alternative energies, of improving technology. So this so-called problem will actually become an incredible opportunity, as it has throughout with capitalism, the way capitalism works, if there is a problem, then, there will be a financial solution.
Yeah, we find a way to fix it and charge for it.
Absolutely.
Now, President Clinton made the link between slowing the economy and basically saving the environment, decreasing global warming. What does that mean? What would you have to do? It sounds like it would be big-ticket items, people not driving, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, what a lot of folks, particularly the Greens, would like to do is really make it prohibitive to drive. In other words, put a tax on it. The way they tax cigarettes in New York City, I mean, you really have to be a cigarette junkie to buy cigarettes in New York City. Because if someone bought 2 packs a day, it costs them up to $5,000 to $7,000 a year. The same thing with gasoline. To make it even maybe to the point where we'd be afraid to turn our lights on in our own homes because it would cost so much. And, that sort of controlling behavior is outrageous. It's almost socialist to a certain extent.
So from your economic background, you take a look at a statement like this, and what would you say? Yes or no?
I just say he's pandering to the left. He's pandering also to countries outside of America who also have a serious responsibility. But, he makes a lot of money from speaking outside of America. Maybe that's why he's doing it. He's not speaking to Americans because we are doing a lot of things in this country right now. You know what the bottom line, ED? It's going to take 10 to 20 years to transition off of oil. We know it. In the meantime, if we want it to really be helpful, we can take advantage of our own resources. We don't talk about that. We don't want to drill off the coast of California. We don't want to drill in
dirty
Anwar.
Words you're getting into. Don't mention Anwar.
Yeah, we don't want to do any
this
of
is cable, but
we don't want to do any of these things that can make the transition less expensive for us.
Yeah.
So you know what? We have to live with the consequences.
No.
But I do have a lot of faith in the markets finding a solution to this without us all having to make less money.
True, and I have a lot of faith in people learning how to conserve on their own and do more with less.
Absolutely.
Turn off your lights. Don't waste gas.